Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner. I am never going back.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. The doldrums of August, the summer top, midterm drop is getting closer and closer. We have one more key catalyst ahead of us, NVDA. We're going to cover everything in the chart. We'll see if Bitcoin and the cryptos are coming to life. Just be aware where we are in the cycle. This is something I predicted, talked about 6 months ago, rallying up into July. Here we are in August. The market's on a 3-week winning streak. You're going to get a top and a midterm drop. And then the sweet spot, the most bullish part of the 4-year cycle, is going to be November until the summer. The S&P averages a 20% gain. The NASDAQ averages a 30% gain. You will see cryptos resync with the market, and you'll see Bitcoin do a 2 to 3x beta in that time period. So the most exciting and bullish part of the cycle is coming up, but we're getting closer and closer to the summer top. All the targets that I gave you guys in April 2025 have been hit. We had 7,000 bull case hit back when we were at 4,800. We had 7,500 max bull case hit. I upped that target again, as you guys know, during the Iran conflict, saying we're going to 7,800 to 2,000. That was back in March. And here we are. We've hit 7,800 a couple times with NVIDIA in front of us. And with the epic gains they could potentially report. I say could because nobody knows. You could see that drag the market up higher, hit our 8,000 sweet spot. I'm going to show you what that's going to do to the cryptos, what it's going to do to the markets, because the most exciting time to be trading is coming up. So let's do a health check where we are. Oh, by the way, guys, last week I told you I have an AI scorecard for the most accurate forecasts and forecasters in the X space and YouTube space. I'm going to make that video tomorrow, publish that report. It'll be available on my X. Give me a follow at Market Canary. Didn't get to do it last week because I was traveling to visit my daughter, taking some little bit of holiday vacation time. But let's jump into these charts. Where are we on oil? It's pretty stagnant. It's 82 bucks, almost 83 bucks. You know, I think the market's kind of over what's happening right now in the Middle East. So if there's a catalyst that's negative, oil will jump. If there's a catalyst that's positive, peace treaty, whatever, oil will dump. But that's where it's at, 82, 83 bucks. Been pretty steady here in this range. Let's move forward. What about the MAGs? I use the ETF for the MAGs from Roundhill. It's called MAGs. And you can see this perfect pattern that played out, right? We have our W pattern that played out beautifully. Where did it find resistance? Right at the 786, seeing some MAG weakness. Again, just understand where we are in this cycle. What's going to happen is this is going to prove to be the ultimate bear trap, because everybody has been predicting the market meltdown. They're going to believe, just like they did with the Iran conflict back in March when that kicked off, oh my God, this is the meltdown, just like they did when we hit 7,000. Oh my God, the AI bubble is going to burst. Understand, guys, this cycle is going to run out well into 2028. There's a lot of gains ahead. S&P is going to hit 10K. Bitcoin's going to get 200, 250K. Just watch. It's going to happen. Let's look at this on NVIDIA. Again, they're reporting, what are they reporting? Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. So NVIDIA is already trying to flip the 786. If it can flip the 786, be aware it's going to flip 236. You'll be at a new all-time high in NVIDIA. You'll see this lift the SOX. You'll see this lift the S&P. Why? Because it's the largest weighting in the S&P. It's the largest stock in the S&P. So you'll see it lift all these indices, and you'll see it hit that magic number of 8K on the S&P if it reports really strong earnings, which is what's expected. It's what everybody's talking about. So you have this exact same beautiful pattern that you saw play out on the MAGs. You have a W pattern, retraced right to the 618 at 191. It's finding some resistance at the 786 at 226. And if it does this and can flip it, gets those strong earnings a week from this Wednesday, you're looking at NVIDIA at a new all-time high, and it'll drag the market kicking and screaming. And then the bears will tell you it's all going to pop. But do we need to believe that? Because look on my screen. How accurate has this fractal been? Lots of people, lots of channels show you a bunch of things. I show a bunch of things. When something's not accurate, you ditch it. When it's playing out to a T, pay attention to it, right? Again, that target that I upped us to 7,800 to 8,000, look exactly how this fractal has predicted this move here in the S&P. We had our low, we rallied up. Remember the prediction from a year ago? 62% move in the S&P so far, guys, from that April 2025 low. Max bull case 7,500. The fractal predicted 7,500. We got up to 7,600, chopped sideways. People told you it's the top. And then we broke out again to 7,800. I think with NVIDIA, if it has strong earnings, watch for this to move up towards 8,000. And then what does this fractal predict is going to happen? This is when you get your 10% correction. You get the drop after you get up to this magic number. So 78.69, 8,000, that's what you're seeing right here vis-a-vis Fibonacci, just psychological levels, 7,800 to 8,000. Again, gave you that prediction. You've had it for months. If we look at this here on the daily chart, what does that mean? What would that actual drop be? Well, again, if you just look at historical corrections, remember pullbacks anything less than 10%, I'm expecting a 10 to 13% type correction. So depending where we top out at, again, if we just take this and go up to, let's just go straight up to 8,000 flat, right? 8,000, if we get to 8,000 and then we correct, NVIDIA drags the market up, we get to 8,000, a 13% correction takes you right back down to 69.80. That base bull case right here gives you 13%. I would pay attention to the RMA, because if you look at the RMA, this is the 180 RMA right here. This is sitting at right now, it's going to keep going up, 67.87. It'll keep creeping up as prices go up. But look how accurate it played out back in March. Played out literally to the dollar, right? The 180 RMA. You might say, well, how did the 200 simple moving average do? It gave you nothing. Just knifed right through it. Landed right on the 180 RMA. And this is right in the wheelhouse. If you look at this, if you look at your high here, your 7,000 high was actually 7,020. And you look at your structural low here as well, this lands you between these two levels, between 7,000 and 6725. That's where I think price will end up. If we get another surge, if we can test 8,000, if we do not break through 8,000, the midterms coming up, I expect this to retrace and move down. And where it can find that larger amount of weakness, right there between 7,000, 6,700, right in that 300-point sweet spot. Why? Because that's where all your structural support is. It's also a historical norm of going down 10 to 13% in a correction. Does it have to do that? No, it could come down to the 50, bounce around, get more bullish and go up. But again, we're just looking at the probabilities based on market history. We can't rewrite history, but we can look at it and try to learn from it. Look at the patterns from it. So that's what I'm expecting. If it does less, fantastic. So what does this like equal out to? I know a lot of people, they look at trades, they day trade, they, long this stock, short that stock, whatever. I swing trade. My next most likely trade is going to be shorting the indices when I believe they made a top. When I believe they made a bottom, I will be longing the indices, okay? Very similar to what I did back in April when I shared those trade ideas, a few of my trade ideas on silver, on Solana, on Tesla, and those all had epic gains, obviously. But this is something I'm looking at from an index level. I'm looking to be short on my next trade on the S&P and then be long when it bottoms. And of course, my investment portfolio will maintain its long status going into 2027. Epic gains are ahead. So let's go ahead and move forward. Actually, I want to look at a couple of things. If we look at the indicators, I'm going to show this to you guys. When you look at this on the daily, you're in a very strong bull trend on the RSI. Look at your volume though, right? Remember, this is just your volume delta. up here, you can see what you have going on here. Now, this could break to the upside, but you have price rising on lower volume. And what does that mean? It's fewer people paying higher prices. That can go on for a long time, but just be aware you have that volume divergence. Momentum is still strong and bullish, but it's not as strong as it was over here. You could say you have momentum divergence. However, when you look at the market breadth, you don't have deterioration. You have 66% of the S&P above its 20 and almost, I think 70%, I think 69% above the 50. So you don't have any breadth deterioration first yet. And that could be a signal when that starts to happen that you're going to be rolling over. So again, right now, strong bullish trend, 3-week winning streak, nothing bearish about this right now. Just be aware, seasonally, cyclically, you're getting close to the summer top midterm drop. Now, outside of NVIDIA next week, we have Fed head Warsh doing the Jackson Hole speech. Will he be hawkish? Will he be, more dovish? Will he speak in circles and confuse everybody? Nobody knows, but that's a potential catalyst later in the month as well. And then the Fed doesn't actually meet until mid-September for whether or not they're raising rates. I told you guys back in Q1, right? I want to bring this back up because I said back in Q1, they would not be raising rates this year. And how many times have we seen rate hikes priced in? Originally for last month, they got up to like 40% chance they're going to raise rates. Then they put them out here into September. And then they were talking about, well, they can't do it in October because of November election. So now the market's kind of pricing in, maybe the first rate hike will be in January. This is a very emotional space. People get all caught up in their emotions. They lose all sense of logic. Warsh does not want to raise rates. We're on a deflationary trend. Raising rates doesn't lower oil price. It doesn't change anything. What it does do is it destroys housing, makes unemployment go up, raises every single person's credit card interest rate, and makes it more difficult for businesses, small and large, to do business. Hence, ergo, what they do then is lay people off, put people unemployed. So raising rates would have a catastrophic effect on individuals and their families. No point in raising rates. You're in a deflationary trend. You're going to see that pick up. You're seeing it already in the job revisions numbers as well. So you're seeing that pick up, which is very bullish for the markets. But the markets have had a big run, and it's a seasonal time to get a summer top and then a midterm drop, because that's where we are in the cycle. Look at the Dow, came back down. Remember, markets move like rubber bands, wave up, pull back, go up. Now, when you're looking at topping action, you have to be aware you get your wave up, you get your pull back, and then it's about that bounce back up. Does it fail underneath the high? And if it does, that's how you get your double top, and that's when you start looking at shorts. So these are all things you're going to see on the various indices. Everything went to target, guys. All these targets that we've been talking about, 216 on the equal weight RSP, nailed it, right? Nailed it here, nailed it there, broke through it, came right up like we talked about to 223. Where is it turning down at? Right off the 223, it's at 221. Just keep in mind, looking at this on the SOX, again, NVIDIA is still to report. I've been telling you guys for weeks, this wave movement should carry you up to 13.3 to 13.9. So I've been calling it 13K to 14K. Why? Because it's Fibonacci and ratios of math rule the universe. If you come up to 13.3 to 13.9 and you fail, this is an opportunity to short on the SOX. Why? Because I would expect the retracement to come back down and possibly retest these lows, which is down there at 10,500. So you'd be looking at a very, very nice gain. And again, I'll be talking about this stuff as it comes true. If it comes true, if NVIDIA blows it out, look for the SOX to lift off, right? So let's just grab 13.6. Pull this down, you'd be looking at once again, this would be a very nice trade. To retest that low is a nice 23% move, almost 3,200 points. That's just coming there. That's if it doesn't break it, right? But just to come back down and retest that low. So that's the area I'd be watching there on the SOX. Once we get up to that level, NASDAQ, look at the weekly time frame. Looks like a very beautiful double top. If it doesn't break out, make a new high. Now it could, because obviously, again, NVIDIA blows it out. NASDAQ could be making a new high as well, which is why you have to look at it on multiple time frames. That's your weekly. Here you are on your daily. You flip the 786, which was 29,985. If you can stay above it, very bullish to make a new all-time high, get above 30,773. If NVIDIA can get you there next week, NASDAQ will make a new high. Maybe it'll be a false breakout, give you an area to possibly short on the NASDAQ and then get the decline, right? Again, as these get closer, we'll talk about these more in line. By the way, guys, if you like this type of commentary and charts, definitely check out joining us on our Discord. The join button right there on YouTube. You can get our videos on YouTube with the Pro Video membership. If you want the Discord membership, select the Discord membership. Jump over to Discord. I'm there 6 days a week. Members there are fantastic. Check it out. Let's look at this on the Russell. Flipped your all-time high at 3,050. You're at 3,054 right now. You've been as high as 3,072. Again, if we get a lift going in, get some positive catalyst, look for 3,125, 3,172. If we do not get a lift, which, we have to see how this plays out, watch for any type of back test and some weakening here in the Russell. Again, you'd be looking at potential opportunities to short for a nice correction in the marketplace. We look at the DAX, hit all the targets, just like the Russell did, just like all the indices did. 26.4, we talked about this for weeks and weeks, getting there. If we get more movement in the DAX, the next level to watch is 27K to the bullish side. If it starts chopping around and starts putting in some topping action, where it fails to make a new high and starts breaking down, you'll have an opportunity to short the DAX as well. If we look at our fear and greed, we are at 63. We are solidly in greed. We'll look at some of the scales of this, though. Market momentum's in greed. Stock price strength is in fear. Stock price breadth is in greed. Put and call options are in greed. Volatility is neutral. It's been a pretty low VIX. So just giving you a little bit of a readout there. Let's look at some individual stocks, and we'll jump over to the cryptos. If we look at the cryptos, we're looking at SpaceX here. SpaceX, again, this has been tracking beautifully. This is an hourly chart. Again, I say this all the time because there's just not a lot of candles yet. IPO, you soared way, way up into the 200s, came right back down, 31% discount, buying it down here at the lows. First ever earnings, squeezed out 25 billion in shorts. You're right back at the IPO price. So I did not buy SpaceX. I told you I'm waiting with the market correction. What I like about the price action, like I said last week, is it established a low. It gave us a base. So what we could end up getting in SpaceX is a movement like this. Your wave down, rebound, rally up. If we get a larger market correction, 10, 13%, you're going to get the pullback. You're going to end up getting some type of W, either retesting that low. Could you make a new low? Sure, you could. But if you retest that low, end up getting a W, I'll be buying SpaceX here. If it makes a new low, then I'll be tracking it and looking for support structures, but I'll be buying SpaceX after the market correction for the most bullish time in the cycle, which will be coming post midterm election in November. Tesla, what are we still looking for in Tesla? Looking for it to come up and see if it's going to fill this gap at 368. That's going to give it resistance. If it can hold up there, if it's going to roll over, making some progress. It's slow. You had a low of 297. You're at 331. We'll see if this can continue to come up to that key level of resistance. If we look at Palantir, where did Palantir top out at as of right now anyways? The kill box, 618, 168, 786, 185. Watch Palantir here. Because it has so much beta and so much movement, when the larger top in the markets come in, and again, it could be post NVIDIA, right? Could be with NVIDIA if it disappoints, could be just after post NVIDIA. When the market top comes in, I'll be looking at some of these high flyer stocks, some beta stocks like Palantir, see if a trade presents itself, if we start printing like a double top or something, not able to take out 185, because this could have some nice gains to give up. You also, of course, have that nice huge gap there on Palantir. And that's all the way down there, which is right around 128. Somewhere in that region, you could come back and test the trend line. So I'll be looking at these trade setups individually, getting this sideways choppy action with some more potential catalysts here in the marketplace. BitMiner, again, obviously adjacent to Ethereum. Crypto's getting a little bit of a bid today. You can see you came right down the target, the 1618 at 1291, but you could end up seeing something similar here if we get one more wave up in cryptos. Watch for this around 21, 22. See if it can stay below 24, if it can flip it. If we get another wave up to test the range highs in cryptos, I'll be watching this on the downside as well. I'm not personally looking to add to anything I'm long right now, because again, I believe we're getting closer to the summer top midterm election drop. So that's how I'm playing this. If we look at MSTR, again, Bitcoin catching a bit of a bid, MSTR getting a little bit of a bid here, but you can see overall you've just been building a market line, going sideways here between 104 and 81. You're at 97.93, almost 98 bucks. Bullish above 104.60, bearish above 81. If it lost 81, you're looking at 67 and 59 as your two downside targets. But if you get a breakout and a pump in crypto before any type of top comes in and get a pullback in crypto, this is what to look for. You got to get a breakout above 104.60. Let's go ahead and jump over to the cryptos. All right, jumping over to the cryptos. If we look at total on here, they got a very nice green candle today. You can see the compression of the candles. You get a big green candle. Total needs to flip the trend line. Very bullish, exiting the trading range at 2.29 trillion. You'll see this same pattern carrying through on Bitcoin. You look at Bitcoin on the weekly, you've been going sideways. Again, where we retrace to, if we get the larger market correction, is going to depend on how large that market correction is. Could we possibly get a retest of 57? Of course. Can we wick down just like we did in August of 2024 over here, right to 50K? Of course we could. Near term, I expect higher prices. Why? Because again, the rubber band effect. Markets typically rally up and fail before they sell off. You've been going sideways. I expect a rally up. Could just be to the 108 RMA, which is at 67K. Could be there, and then you could fail. Or you could rally up if you flip it and go to our 73 to 77K targets before you get any type of correction. So Bitcoin correcting up here from 77.5 is a lot different than Bitcoin correcting down here at 65K. So we have to see how high we can get to as the market stretch if we get one last rally in crypto prior to any type of larger retracement. One thing I can tell you, as you guys know, if you've been watching the videos the last few weeks, every time we flipped the 108 RMA and held it here on the weekly time frame, we never got back below it, and that was very bullish. Last time we did that was in 2022. We went on a 100,000 point rally, and then after the pandemic, we went on a 60,000 point rally. So you get big rallies if you can flip it. We just have not been able to do it. Reject it, and you got to flip that level of 67K. Let's look at this on the daily or 8-hour chart. Get the nice candle here if the buying influx coming in there on total. So again, the pattern I'm looking at here, I mean, you can probably clearly see it. You got a nice W pattern that formed, right? W patterns, the key level resistance, you want to watch 66K right here between 65 and 66. Do we top out right in that kill box range? If you can flip it and the markets want to grind higher, maybe we can get crypto to exit. To do that, you got to flip your trading range high of 67. And again, if you do, we have those higher level targets in the low to mid 70s. That would be my target range. Again, something we've been talking about, as you guys know, for months and months, but you've just had a lot of chop. So you got a nice bid coming in the cryptos today. You got resistance above you, the 50% fibs at 64.6. You're at 64.150. Can this move continue to come up and break out? That's what we want to see. Can this W continue to form and break out to the upside? We're going to find out, right? Be nice to get some more elevation here in crypto prices before any type of correction. What gives me hope is seeing a consolidation here of Ethereum on top of the trading range. Remember, Bitcoin's down here, right? Bitcoin hasn't exited the trading range. If Bitcoin can come up, exit the trading range, you can have much higher prices. Ethereum exited the trading range. So we have a downtrend line here from your high and your rally. If we can flip this, what's the next level target? You're looking at 1983. 23 on a 50% fib, which is basically what you kissed before. If you can flip that, 2100, and of course above that, 2250. Those would be some nice Ethereum gains pressing right up against the trend line right now. If total continues to grow, we get some more green candles. If Bitcoin continues to get some more money inflows, you have to see Ethereum break out to the upside, flip the trend line, and get some higher levels of elevation. Because again, if we get the likely top and retracement for the midterms, cryptos are going to be affected. I don't think a world exists where a beta risk asset like cryptos will be going northward, meaning going and higher in price, and the market's retracing trillions and trillions of dollars. So you want to see these prices get elevated because you're inevitably going to get some type of correction with it. Higher they go, the more likely it is they can hold their lows, right? That's just a key element here to think about. 1850 is a key support. Beneath that, 1800 is a key support. You're at 1912. These prices haven't changed much. As you guys know, crypto has been very painful to watch and to be involved in. During the summer, it's been pretty boring. But at any rate, you look at Solana, broker downtrend line, trying to exit the trading range right at 76. It's exactly where you're hitting your head. You're at 75, 78. If Solana can break out, right? If Bitcoin can continue, Solana can hold this higher low, elevate up. You want to watch 81. That's your 786. 7882 is your 618, which would be right here in a kill box. And then you have this other top. And then you get this like disjointed double top looking price action if you cannot break out. If you can break out, $90 was the other target. Solana target was hit. Been pretty successful trading Solana since April of last year. I really do like to trade it. It's just not doing much, right? Bitcoin's moving up right now. You have Ethereum moving up. Solana's just kind of meh. And that's just kind of the stage of where we are at. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Tomorrow will be AI scorecard for forecasting video. Hope to see you on the Discord. Have a fantastic week, everybody.